I'm reading this book at the minute called Musical Truth by a guy called Mark Devlin, who's a DJ cum researcher, right? Fascinating book. It's all about the corruption within the music industry, the paedophilia, all the Jimmy Savile stuff, the Rolf Harris stuff, everything like that. But the chapter I've just finished, I had no idea this was a thing, and I don't think it is the case. But there's some fascinating stuff. Are you familiar with you're obviously familiar with the Paul is dead theory?
No.
No, really?
No.
That surprises me. I'd never heard of it until I read this chapter, and then I started looking at stuff on the internet. So there's this theory, right, that Paul McCartney died in 1969 in a car crash. No, sorry, 1966 in a car crash, right? But the Beatles were at the height of their fame, and they were making too much money, that a plan was formed to get a lookalike who could also play guitar,
Right.
and to fill in for Paul McCartney.
Playing bass.
Yeah, playing bass.
Left-handed.
This is the thing, right? To fill in for Paul McCartney, so they could carry on making a shed load of money. But they hadn't anticipated, like, the careers to carry on, solo careers and all this type of stuff. They thought it was going to be another 3 years and that was it. But there is a lot of weird stuff surrounding him. So he's left-handed, right?
Right.
In pretty much every picture of him taken post-1966, he's using his right hand for, like, holding beers, smoking, all this type of stuff. It's really weird. And then people who believe in the conspiracy, and I don't, by the way, but people who believe in it say there's loads of symbolism on the album covers. So, for example, Sgt. Pepper's, the flowers at the bottom is a grave, isn't it? And the flowers are in the shape of a bass guitar. And then all the Beatles are kind of looking down, but then you've got that little cardboard cutout of the old Beatles, you know, the Love Me Do era, and they're all looking down as if they're at a funeral, right? And then you've just got loads of weird stuff on the front of that album, and then there's things surrounding Paul's head and stuff like that, which symbolise death apparently. And then on the Abbey Road cover, they're saying it looks like a funeral procession with John at the front in this white, you know, beautiful flashy suit, looks like a priest. And then I think you've got Ringo, who's in a suit, who looks like a pallbearer. Then you've got McCartney, who's got no shoes on. And in some cultures, not having shoes on your feet are a sign of what is what they used to do with corpses. So they're saying it's like a subtle nod. And then George Harrison at the back's got denim on, and he's saying he looks like a grave digger. Oh, and then there's something on the registration plate that says 28 IF on the car, and apparently he would have been 28 on that date if he'd survived. So I don't know, probably most of it's a load of bollocks. And then there's loads of songs you can play backwards, right? On Strawberry Fields at the end, not backwards, you've got John Lennon saying, I miss Paul, type of thing. and then if you play Revolution number 9
But if you
backwards.
if you play it backwards, he says on this Paul.
No, that on Strawberry Fields it's forwards, but very faintly at the end. We can hear it, we put on. But then on Revolution number 9 it says like, Paul's dead, I miss him, I miss him, I miss him. Now you can find meaning in anything when it's played backwards, can't you? But there's a few things like that. And on Let It Be, and you know you've got the 4 pictures of the 4 Beatles. They've all got a white background, apart from Paul, which is red. And then there's footage which I've heard, you can find it on YouTube, of the Beatles talking about a fake Beatle. And now it might be them just winding it up because they knew this was a conspiracy at the time to bring more hype. That's what I think it is. But they're talking about the Fab 3. And then there's loads of things about his wife at the time saying he's fucking fake. And it's just mad. You should read the chapter. I've got the book there. It's fascinating. But then there's what was the other thing as well? Apparently, if you look at, and I don't know, it's hard. If you look at pictures of him post 1966 and pre 1966, his face does look a bit different, but they both look like Paul McCartney, if you know what I mean. But there was these 2 researchers, right? Some like academics got so fed up of this rumor, decided to use facial recognition software to prove that it was the same person. So they scanned a load of pictures pre-1966 and post-1966 to prove that it was the same person. And the computer, the results of it conclusively said that it's 100% a different person with a completely different facial structure.
Sounds like absolute bollocks.
I think it probably is bollocks. But it's a fun read. The things you do for a good deli shop.
This is what Google Maps used to look like.
This is great. Now I can see everything in one go rather than having to whoop, whoop, whoop. Right, yeah. So currently about here, round about there. So we've just come from Calais. So now I think we head down to old Reims, whatever you pronounce it, through Champagne, and we head for this national park here. Loads of lakes, and then we'll camp up there for the night.
Does it get bigger? Or is that?
Yeah, well, it's on the other side.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then tomorrow, head down here into Verdon maybe.
Verdon.
Do a bit of swimming. And then, yeah. Well, Verdon's around here somewhere, isn't it? Yeah. Get on the Mediterranean coast.
Lovely.
Make our way to Barcelona.
Fantastic.
Happy days. James going to take a picture of some train tracks. Or is he taking a dump? Let's take a picture. Right, pulled up by a lake. We're about to have our first swim of the trip. Very nice lake. I'm surprised they've not built a centre parks on it. And we're going to try and camp here tonight. There's no signs saying no overnight camping. So we found a little spot. We're going to try and make some food in a minute after we've had a swim and get our head down. And there's a place over there that does breakfasts and beer. And I've just had a beer. Winner.
Where are we, Brian?
Fuck knows. Somewhere in the France. On the way to Provence.
Provence!
Provence! Still in northern France somewhere. Well, the middle of France, the Midlands of France. This is basically Shrewsbury. It's the Shrewsbury of France. However, James, I think we should probably get out because it's looking like
We are in some lake in the middle of absolutely nowhere in France.
and it's about to thunder and lightning,
And it's raining.
so we've got to get out.
So we're gonna get out. Five seconds later. I mean, having one soon.
Mama's spicy noodles. Mama's spicy fish noodles. Au revoir.